Hi everybody, well I've had the Vfr1200 3 years now, so time for a 3-year review. Okay, for those of you that are new to the channel, if you click on my username you'll find lots of videos on the VFR. For those of you that have watched my videos, you might find some repetition here, but on a 3-year review I will go over a few things, but not in as much detail. Okay, so bought the bike in June 2020 for £4,600, 2012 model in the blue that they only did for this year, and I do like that blue. Bike came with quite a few extras which made the price even better, including the full luggage there, luggage rack, the top box and the 29-litre panniers. Also came with the sat-nav and mount. It's an old sat-nav, a Zumo 660, but they were quite expensive in the day, and even though it's old, it does a great job and it's a great position there. Bike also came with the heli bars there, done a video on that, and yeah, I'm sure they improve comfort a little bit, but it's so long since I rode one without heli bars I can't say for certain if there's a vast difference. Bike had 16,000, just over 16,000 when I bought it, miles. And as you can see now, sorry about the light, it's on 32,435, about 55,000 kilometers. Previous owner also fitted the R&G Aero crash bungs, which look quite nice. I fitted the cheap eBay screen. I did, if you've watched my videos, fit the official Honda one, which I didn't find was much better, so I put this one back on. And the bike also had the factory fitted heated grips, which are very nice to have. Power commander was also fitted by the previous owner. Again, such a long time since I rode a standard bike, so I'm not sure what help that is, but the bike runs very nicely. And it also came with a centre stand, which until I bought the bike I didn't realise that was an option on the Honda, but apparently it was. The bike also had fitted a neat little 12 volt and USB fittings there under the seat, which again is quite useful. And the bike came with what I thought was a good service history, but if you've seen my air filter change video you'll see that that obviously hadn't been touched, so I was a bit disappointed with that. Bike had one owner before the person I bought it from. He'd had it a good 6 years. The first owner had it about 2 years or so, and it hadn't been looked after that well. I'm not saying it was neglected, but I've done a lot of work to bring up the nuts and bolts and the fixtures and fittings to a standard that I prefer. And if you'll flick through some of my videos you'll find out what I've done and how I've done it. Now, as I'm somebody who tends to keep my bike standard, I've done nothing to the VFR at all apart from maintain it. That screen is the only thing that I've fitted. Everything else is standard. I don't like to keep my bike standard. I'm a bit of a restorer by heart, so I don't modify too much. But let's look at the pros and the cons of the bike, and has it changed over the 3 years that I've had it. Okay, first of all, engine performance. Yeah, you can't knock the engine performance. It's mid-range laden, has a reasonable top end, and is grunty enough for most situations. I mean, I've never ever thought, oh, I wish I had more power. Again, look at my engine video to get more detail on that. So my views on the engine from first buying it to now, exactly the same. A lovely, fruity, strong mid-range, nice characterful V4. I love it. Handling, well, perhaps I should say steering, because a lot of people mix up steering with handling. Handling you only really know when you're really pushing on with a bike, and then all depends on your weight, the type of road, tyres obviously help as well. So steering wise, it's a neutral steerer. It certainly isn't slow. Some people said it's a slow steerer. I don't find it slow. I would say it's neutral. Again, tyres can have an effect on it. So steering wise, yeah, for the size of bike, for the weight, it's exactly how I would imagine it to be, and that hasn't changed really over the 3 years. Handling wise though, again, if you're pushing on, that rear shock really needs replaced now. It's lost a bit of its damping regardless of what settings I put it on. you can feel it wallowing around a bit, but that's only when you're pushing on. In normal riding, you probably wouldn't notice it, but to do the right service, I really should put a new shock on it. So handling for a 267 kilogram sports tourer, yeah, I think I've mentioned a fat fire blade description before. That's how it feels to me. It still handles like a sports bike if you wanted to. The brakes, yeah, they've kept the sort of condition, and as I said in my brakes video, initially thought they were a bit sort of like wheat, but no, they have a soft bite, but then when you really pile them on, they pull up nice and strong. And I've got used to the link brake system. I'm using that back brake a lot more on it, so I wasn't sure about that at the start, but yeah, I quite like it. Tyres, bike came with Michelin Pilot Road 4s, which were okay. They were starting to cup a little bit, so I changed them for Avon Storms 3Ds. They were really good. Made the bike quite flighty, but I would say it was up on its toes on those Avons. But yeah, like most one tyres, excellent. And I've got on Pirelli Angel GT2s at the moment, and I think I've done about 2,000 miles on them, rather. And yeah, like I say, most modern tyres, brilliant. It's the wet performance you want, isn't it, really, these days? And in fact, all three have been quite good in the wet. Fuel economy, well, over the 3 years and the 16,000 miles, I probably averaged about 43 to 44 miles per gallon. I think that's about 5.4 litres per 100 kilometres, something like that, I think. So yeah, fuel economy for a big bike again, not too bad. Reliability, what's gone wrong? Changed the front wheel bearings. Didn't notice any problem with them. It was just that when I took my wheel off to change the tyre, I give them a little bit of a movement, and they were a bit gravelly, so I changed them, but nothing else. I get the odd cam chain tension or rattle on odd occasions, not always, just when it's just started up after about 40 seconds or so, which I believe is a common thing. But once it's warmed up, I never hear it. Comfort wise, yeah, always quite subjective. Comfort, I've mentioned this before, it's very comforting, the bike. It shields you from the elements. This sitting position is fabulous. A big fairing does shield you from the elements. Screen's too low though, hence the deflector. Pegs are quite high, so if you're tall you will find your legs cramped a little bit, but I quite like being up on my tiptoes, shall we say, on the pegs, so I quite like that position. It keeps the weight off your backside, and it's easy to throw the bike around a little bit. And obviously with the heli bars, that helps with the comfort. Again, the seat I've mentioned before, it feels quite firm at first, and a lot of people do change them. I did that little survey, and a lot of people have changed them or done something to them. I've just got used to it. There's plenty of room on the seat. If you do get a bit watchety, you can move around a little bit. So I'm living with it. Yeah, it's okay. From my niggles video, yeah, you'll know that the clutch is heavy. If you're commuting or in traffic filtering, yeah, that's a heavy clutch. No get away from that. I can't pick this up in this light, but I've said it before. This still annoys me. This perspex screen that lets the drips run down after you've washed it. Something that bothers someone like me with a bit of OCD. That's annoying. And those front forks, no matter what settings, they can be choppy on slow country villages. When you're just bimbering through a village, it can feel a bit choppy. Elsewhere though, the ride is fabulous. But a few people do comment, and I've had those fronts revalved, you know. Would I do that? Probably not. I've enjoyed the mirrors on the bike. It's something that one of those things is quite boring to talk about, but quite honestly, having good mirrors on the bike certainly makes the ride more relaxing, and they are very good. Touring wise, which quite honestly is what I bought it for, and then COVID caused an issue with that. But I've done some Wales tours, I've done some Scottish tours. Fingers crossed we'll get away in September to Europe, because that's what I did buy it for the fast autobahn touring. And it's been fabulous on the Wales and the Scottish trips. It's been absolutely lovely. Those panniers, just the feel of the bike when you're doing big mileage, yeah, it just helps you along, and very, very relaxing bike. But pacey when you want it, fun when you want it to be. So in the 3 years and 16,000 miles, has the novelty worn off? No, it hasn't. Is there anything I dislike about the bike that I disliked at first? Can't think. Nope, can't think so. I think it's the feelings are much the same. There was a few sort of comfort issues when I first bought it, which I was surprised, but now I find it that comforting thing helps. 3 years, 16,000 miles. The build quality is superb. I read a magazine about some of the modern bikes, and they'd had them for 15 months and 10,000 miles or so, and they were already showing signs of rusts, and they seemed to think it was acceptable these days if you didn't pay a lot of money for a bike. But you know, when you look at this Vfr 12-year-old, 13-year-old actually, just build quality just stands up to it. So it stands up to the weather superb. Not that I go out in bad weather much. So there we are. I'll wrap it up there. As I say, if you're new to my channel, flick through all the videos I've got. Everything I've talked about on this video I will have gone into more detail, and I look forward to many years and miles on the Vfr from now on. Thanks again for watching. Bye.